Hello friends, welcome to the current affairs class. So today we'll be dealing with November part 4. This is booklet 4. In this booklet we basically want to cover all the agriculture issues that were in news from June to October. So you have been asking me, sir, how will we do the stuff that we have missed? In this way, I'm continuing to do this. So this agriculture is one of the most important topics. You'll see that in today's class only we will cover 2 bullet points of economy syllabus. You will not need to do anything else for 2 of the things that we will be covering. Okay, so we'll be doing this. But before this, I have a complaint. Many of you have been calling in the institution and have been saying that you want to attend offline classes. Guys, offline classes are not going on. Offline classes are not allowed by government, at least till 15th of January. We are expecting that by 15th of January, offline classes would be allowed. When it is allowed, we'll definitely allow you to come and sit in the class, but not right now. Right now, what I do is I ask 1 or 2 of my friends to come and sit in the class to make the class more interactive. Otherwise, recording class in an empty classroom becomes a problem. Okay, so please note that offline classes are not going on and we are not allowing anyone to attend the classes. So don't call for those reasons, and even when you call, please don't be rude with the people who are working with us here. Okay, so let us start with the first topic. The first topic that we are dealing with is agri-marketing issue. Why has it been in news? You know that in July, government had passed 3 farm bills. Government had passed 3 farm bills as ordinance, and till today, in September, those ordinances were replaced by acts of parliament. Until today, farmers are protesting against those bills or against those acts. So we want to understand what is agri-marketing, what are the key problems, why is agri-marketing very important, what are the key problems which existed before the bill, before the new acts came into play, what are the key problems that existed there, how these acts, how these 3 amendments are trying to resolve those problems, and what has it not been able to do, why farmers are protesting, how should farmer protest be dealt with. All those things would be covered in this section. Okay, first of all, what is agri-marketing? In simple term, marketing would be like how easily we're able to make agricultural products being produced by farmers reach consumers. This will be simpler, in very simple form, agri-marketing. So here consumer can be the end consumer like you and me, who are having vegetables, who are having wheat or rice every day, or there can be a food processing plant which is perhaps making potato chips or making let's say sauce from agri products. How easy is for farmer to make her product reach the consumer? That is agri-marketing. Now, agri-marketing is one area which has remained a cause of concern. Achha, before we get into agri-marketing cause of concern, please note that this is the part of your syllabus that we are covering through this section. Transport and marketing of agricultural produce and issues and related constraints. This is what is clearly mentioned in the syllabus. Transport and marketing of agricultural produce. Then e-technology in the aid of farmers. So this bullet point of your syllabus of GS3 will be finished, completed today. You will not need to touch anything else. This is also very important because a question on this issue has not been asked after 2014. In 2014, question was asked, but after that it hasn't been asked. That's why we have provided you 3-4 more questions to attempt in order to be prepared, be ready to deal with agri-marketing related questions. Okay, so now I was just explaining you what agri-marketing is. Niti Aayog has found that there are 3 key concerns in India's agricultural sector, 3 key reforms which India's agricultural sector requires. And one key thing that it has identified is the issue of agri-marketing. Agri-marketing is not very effective. Why is it not effective? We'll come to that, but before that, why good, efficient agri-marketing is crucial. I'm sorry. Why efficient agri-marketing is crucial? Let us understand that. First, if agri-marketing system is good, farmers would be able to get right price. Now think of this. If farmer is not able to find many sellers, one single seller will cheat the farmer. So it's important that farmer should be able to get right price, and for that marketing facility should be good. Similarly, consumers. If marketing is not good, farmer's product is being bought by intermediary at a very low price, but that intermediary is selling it to consumers at very high price. Marketing system is not good. Who would suffer? It will be consumers who would be suffering. Similarly, think of food processing industries. Food processing industries need to procure a lot of food. Who are food processing industries? Let's say those people who pack you the coconut water. They have processed coconut water, they have packed and given it to you. Or people who give you rice flour. You may be eating Ashirwad atta. They are also processing the food and then supplying it to you. The oil industry, the edible oil industry, they're all part of food processing industry. Or the potato chips industry, Lay's and all, they're all part of food industry. They need to procure a lot of food products. But if marketing facility is not good, if they're not able to properly procure those foods, then food processing industry would also suffer in India. Similarly, if marketing is not good, what would happen? Farmers would look at government, buy our products at MSP, buy our products at MSP, and government subsidy burden will also be very high. So for all these reasons, from farmers' perspective, from consumers' perspective, from industry's perspective, from government's perspective, good agri-marketing is very crucial. Now, what is the system of agricultural marketing in India presently? How does it function? What are the problems in it? Why do we need reform? So right now, we have APMC system. Now, what is this APMC system? In fact, let us go to a situation when there was no APMCs. Let us start with the situations in 1950s. In 1950s, there was no regulated market of agricultural products in India. So what farmers used to do, they used to grow their crops, they used to go to traders, sell their product to traders, and then traders used to further supply it. In that situation, farmers were very vulnerable because traders would buy the product at very low prices. Farmers did not have an option, and farmers were thus getting exploited. Proper price discovery was not there. So to deal with that problem, the government came up with note one more thing. Agriculture is a state subject. Agri-marketing is also a state subject, and therefore state governments in 1960s came up with various Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee APMC Act. Through these APMC Act, what they are doing is they are providing for regulated markets. What is regulated market? Regulated markets would be the mandis. Let's say what they'll do is in every region they'll have an APMC mandi. APMC mandi. And farmers of this region, rather than selling their product to traders outside, which they were doing earlier, when they were selling products to traders outside, traders could exploit them. But now farmers will go to these APMC mandis, and what happened? Farmers would go to these APMC mandis and sell products in these APMC mandis. The law says, the state law says that product here would be sold by a bidding process. One trader would bid, other trader would bid, third trader would bid. Idea is farmer should be able to get the best price possible, which was not the case earlier. In the same way, these APMCs are regulated by what is known as APMC, or the committees regulate these APMCs. These committees have representatives of traders, representatives of various sectors. They provide license to traders. Only those traders who have license here would be able to participate in this bidding process. So this is the system presently. This is the system presently. We have APMC mandis. Farmers go and sell their product there. They're not allowed to, or traders are not allowed to buy products from farmers outside the APMC mandis. We have around 2500 such APMC mandis in the country, which are regulated by state APMC acts and are regulated by Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee or APMCs. In these mandis there would be APMCs. What would they do? What these committees do? They provide license to buyers, commission agents and private markets. They levy market fee. जो भी वहाँ पे traders हैं, they levy APMC mandis levy market fee, and they also provide a necessary infrastructure. So perhaps you may have gone to some of these APMC. Have you ever visited any of the APMC mandis? No. So generally in towns you will find these kind of APMC mandis where people from all the neighboring rural areas would come, and farmers, especially at the time of harvesting, would come with their tractors or come with some other transport mechanism to sell their products there. Okay, so the beginning of the system was with a noble idea. Farmers should not be exploited outside. Now these are mandis which have been created by a law of government. You come here and sell your products here. Idea was all good, but it has created, so these APMC mandis have served farmers by ensuring assured prices, by reducing exploitation of farmers, and by ensuring that sale takes place through exploitation. But over the years we have seen that these APMC mandis have also created problems for farmers. What has actually happened is, in this APMC mandis, only licensed traders, let's say these are the licensed traders in this APMC mandi. Farmers would come and these are the traders who will be bidding for the product. They have ended up forming cartels. They have formed groups, closed groups, and they say that if farmers come tomorrow, let us not bid more than 20 rupees per kg for wheat. This cartelization has again started exploiting farmers. The real price could have been 25 rupees, but by forming these cartels, they are preventing proper price discovery. Similarly, by forming these cartels, what they are also doing is they are preventing outsiders. Let's say a new trader wants to come and get license here and wants to trade. They are preventing that competition also. So this has become a major concern. Price fixing and cartelization by licensed traders have impacted competition. The primary reason for which APMC mandis were established. Then, because of this, there is information asymmetry. Idea was, what should be the market price of wheat? That should be clearly available. But because of this cartelization, this information asymmetry has become common. Then, these APMC mandis are also charging very high fees. Because of that also, traders are facing concerns, traders are facing problems. Then fragmentation of agri-market has occurred. What is fragmentation of agri-market? Throughout the country, we have several APMC mandis which are serving different regions. Now, a trader who's in Kerala, he wants to buy a product from, let's say, Punjab, from the farmers of Punjab. He would not be able to buy, because for that, this trader in Kerala will have to have a license of an APMC mandi of Punjab. So what we have done, we have fragmented the market, agri-market in the country because of this APMC mandi. In fact, forget that. Let's say this is the state of Punjab and these are various APMC mandis. Let's say a trader has a license of this mandi. If he wants to buy a product from farmer here, no. Even he would not. He has license to trade in this mandi only. So to trade in a particular mandi, you have to have license of that mandi. So fragmentation of not only national market, but fragmentation also has taken place for within the state, which has impacted again the farmers as well as large consumers in the sense let's say Lay's manufacturers, they want to buy a lot of potatoes. So for them, procuring only from one mandi may not be feasible. So what they have to do, they have to get license from multiple mandis, or they have to depend on these unscrupulous traders. These traders, then these intermediaries unnecessarily increase the price. This is another major concern that has occurred. Now, we are talking about limitations. In this limitation, there is also an issue of private investment not coming. All these mandis are government regulated. How are these mandis maintained? How is infrastructure provided there? Government provides money, or the money comes from the fee that is charged from traders. But if you have been to any of these mandis, you would know that the infrastructure is not good enough in these mandis. We would have wanted that private players are coming and they are creating infrastructure, cold storage facilities for fruits and other perishable things, but that has not happened. And the current laws, the current APMC acts, according to them, only state governments could set up these mandis. Outside this APMC mandi, if a private player wants to set up a different mandi with better infrastructure, they cannot do it. For these reasons, we say that both farmers as well as consumers are suffering. Traders who have formed monopoly in certain mandis are the ones who are intermediaries or commission agents. What commission agents do is, commission agents connect the farmer to a trader. Farmer comes with a product, commission agents connect them with the trader. Farmer wants to sell a product in 14 rupees per kg, trader wants to buy it in 12 rupees per kg. The negotiation between them is made by these commission agents. So in this system, intermediaries like these traders and these commission agents are the ones who have benefited, but overall the system has become a bottleneck. It is impacting one nation, one market ka phenomena. Fragmentation of market has occurred. It is not letting farmer get the right produce, because farmer was expecting that by bidding it would happen, the price determination would happen. But how is this happening? It is happening by cartelization, and farmer is not getting the right produce. Infrastructure that could have been better if private investment would have taken place, that's not happening. And the worst part is, very small percentage of these farmers actually reach APMC mandis, because these APMC mandis are very far away located. So most of the small and marginal farmers find it very expensive to take their products there. So they anyway sell their products outside. And in outside, proper mandi creation and all those things are not allowed. Again, farmers are suffering. So we do not even have enough number of APMC mandis. Recommendations are that within 8 to 10 kilometers of farmers village there should be an APMC mandi, but that's not the case. Kabhi 40 kilometers, sometimes 40 kilometers away, sometimes 50 kilometers away. So these are the problems in agri-marketing that exist in India right now. सब समझ में आया है? कोई problem नहीं है? Okay. Now to deal with these problems, these are not the problems which have emerged over the last 5-6 years. These are problems which we were able to identify from 1980s, 90s only. That yes, there is this big issue, and government has been taking certain steps to deal with these problems. For example, in 2003, central government came up with Model APMC Act. Since agriculture and agri-marketing is a state subject, central government cannot come up with a act to control it, to regulate it. So what it came up with was a Model APMC Act. Model because it was a guidance to states that you modify your acts as per this Model APMC Act. And under this Model APMC Act, there were provisions like direct purchase. That is, traders could directly purchase products from farmers rather than through APMC mandis. There were provisions like private wholesale markets. So other than mandis, private players could also set up their wholesale markets where farmers could come and sell their products. In the same way, contract farming related norms were also there. So this was a method of mechanism of liberalizing or providing more opportunities for farmers. But most of the state governments did not adopt this. They didn't adopt, when they did not adopt it, these provisions were not there in their laws, and farmers still kept on suffering. Similarly, in 2018, 2003 में एक act आया, in 2017-18 government again came up with another model APMC act, and they also came up with a model contract farming act. These in the 2003 act, okay, what just happened? Size increased. Yeah. In the 2003 Act, the Model APMC Act dealt with contract farming also, but here two separate acts, one for APMC, another for contract farming model acts were brought, which provisions were similar. It allowed restriction-free trade of farmers' produce. Rather than only going to APMC mandis, you can sell your product somewhere else. Promoted competition through multiple marketing channels. That is, you could sell your product in private wholesale markets, national markets, cold storage processing units, etc., and promote farming under pre-agreed contracts. But again, this was also a model law. State governments, most of the state governments did not implement it, and farmers kept on suffering. I'm sorry. In 2006, when Nitish Kumar had just become the Chief Minister of Bihar, he did away with the APMC system altogether. So Bihar does not have APMC. So we are talking about what steps have been taken to deal with these problems. So we are saying that Bihar did away with APMCs. Farmers could sell their product wherever they want. There was no system of APMC mandis. And Bihar, even today, Bihar does not have the system of APMC mandis. Some states like Kerala never came up with APMC mandis. When in 1960s, most of the states came up with this system, they did not bring in the APMC mandi system. They allowed things to go on as usual. Maharashtra, they have relaxed, they have liberalized their APMCs. Some of these things have been done. Then another step that was taken before the new laws which are being discussed now is the system of ENAM. What was ENAM? ENAM was like a Flipkart for agricultural products. Idea was a farmer through this ENAM would be able to showcase her product, and a trader from anywhere in the country would be able to buy this product. But this was supposed to happen through APMC mandis. So farmer will go to the APMC mandi and through ENAM make the product available. And when the bidding is taking place, it's not only taking place from the farmers of this APMC mandi, but from all over the country. Whoever is giving the best price to farmer would be benefiting. In the same way, the trader, whether he is in Kerala or in Tamil Nadu and wants to buy products from Punjab, those traders would also be able to bid for it. This ENAM system was brought in 2015-16 by government. It was expected that for this ENAM to get implemented, state governments had to change their APMC laws to accommodate the provisions for ENAM. Some progress have been made. Around 700 markets, 700 APMC mandis have been integrated with it, but not a lot of trade is still taking place through ENAM. But we will talk about ENAM in greater details in a separate topic in today's class only. But for now, understand the problems which are there in agri-marketing, what steps are being taken to deal with it. 2003 APMC Act, 2017 APMC Act, those are model acts. Then Bihar doing away with APMC, the ENAM provision. Then recently, government has also come up with Grameen agricultural markets. What are these Grameen agricultural markets? As I was telling you, these APMC mandis are actually very far away. And a small and marginal farmer in this village doesn't go there. He goes to the local haats. These haats do not have as good an infrastructure, nor do they have enough competition, enough bidding mechanisms. But these haats are somehow the traders from these mandis may also be having a subsidiary here. And most of these small and marginal farmers are going to these small haats to sell their products. What government has decided is all these haats, around 22,000 haats are there. They will be converted into Grameen agricultural markets with same kind, better infrastructure, and with same kind of bidding process being available, and they being connected with ENAM. So even small and marginal farmer could go to ENAM through these hearts and sell their products wherever they want to in the country. So this is another step. ENAM हो गया एक, development of primary agriculture. Do you people have bullet points there? Like यहाँ पे ये bullet points हट गए हैं. Numbering है इसमें listing में? Numbering is there, no? Okay, I somehow something wrong has happened here. Okay, so there was this Gram initiative has been taken. Then very recently, government has also come up with Agri-Market Infrastructure Fund. Agri-Market Infrastructure Fund would do what? It will provide money for improving infrastructure of Grameen agricultural market, that is HARTS का infrastructure improve करना. Then in July 2020 अभी government came up with Agri Infrastructure Fund. It in general is looking after agricultural infrastructure. That also we will discuss in today's class only. After ENAM, we will discuss it. So these were several steps which were taken to deal with the problem of poor agri marketing in the country. Okay, अभी तक सब समझ में आया है? Agri marketing क्या है? Why is agri marketing required? What are the problems that these agri marketing trying to solve, and what are the problems which APMC system has created? वो 5-6 cartelization, all those problems we have understood. Then before July 2020, what were all the steps that were taken by government to deal with these problems? But all these steps were not very effective, and finally government in June 2020 came up with these 3 acts. Initially it came with these acts in the form of ordinance, and now in September these ordinances have been replaced by acts of parliament. So let us look at these 3 acts before we analyze, before we understand the way forward on this issue. The first is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020. Farmers produce, farmer जो produce कर रहा है उसका trade and commerce का promotion and facilitation. Act 2020 FPTC. What is this act saying? This act is saying that outside APMC mandis also farmer can sell the product. Simple. So what is it saying? Interstate or intrastate or intrastate trade of farmers produce is allowed outside the markets formed under the state APMC Act. So basically it is freeing farmers. It's not saying that in APMC mandi trade would not happen. Yes, farmer can still go to APMC mandis, but even outside APMC mandis, outside the designated trade area, outside the trade area, farmers can sell the product. It can be at any place of production, collection, aggregation, including farm gates, factories, cold storage, silos, etc. So in the field of farmer, where farmer has just harvested a lot of mustard, if some trader is buying it from there, farmer is allowed to sell it there, no problem. If there is a cold storage facility nearby and if traders are available there to buy the product, farmers can go and sell there. So basically the restriction which existed till now, you have to go to APMC mandi to sell your product, that restriction has been done away with. Simple terms. What they have also said that electronic trading platform can also be developed. For example, let's say there is this village, there's this village, farmer has grown something, rather than going to this APMC mandi, farmer can also go to nearby cold storage facility. This cold storage facility person can create a e-portal website through which sale and purchase can take place, or farmers can come together to form farmer producer organization or companies. Farmer producer organization are basically companies in which farmers have come together and formed this company. they can form a website through which they want to sell their products. So basically, what happens in, let's say, the case of clothes, Van Heusen have their own website, Louis Philippe have their own website. In the same way, here also website creation is allowed by companies, by partnership firm, by registered societies having PAN number or any other document notified by central government. In the same way, FPOs or agricultural cooperative societies can also form this electronic trading portal through which farmers can sell their product. So what government is trying to do? Remove the restrictions. Only going to APMC mandis? No. You can sell your products outside. You can also sell your products through these electronic trading platforms which are getting created here. Further, when these products would be sold outside, when the farmer is not going to APMC mandis, then traders will not have to pay market fees or cess or levy. They will not put any levy on farmers. They will not do anything like that. APMC mandis have nothing to do with this sale. Okay, so this is the new law, first law. So what is first law basically doing? First law, the Farmer Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act, or FPTC Act 2020 is liberalizing farmer. You sell your product wherever you want. APMC mandis, not necessary. You sell it outside, e-NAM ke through sell karna, not necessary. You sell it through any website created by these people, FPOs or any of these people who have been allowed to create a portal. Simple. There's another law, the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020. What is this act? This act is basically regulating the contract farming. Okay, so we'll quickly first understand what contract farming is, and then we'll understand why was the need of regulating contract farming and how this act is regulating it. Contract farming in very simple terms is this. Let's say this is Lay's, the company Lay's, which makes potato chips, or let's say Uncle Chips. They will give contract to this farmer that 6 months down the line you will provide us 1 ton of potatoes and we will buy it at 20 rupees per kg. This is a contract, and this kind of farming is known as contract farming. Here farmer will not be selling his product to anyone else. Here Uncle Chips or Lay's will have to give 20 rupees per kg. This is contract farming, and it's going on in the country, but it was seen that generally in this kind of contract farming, it is these contracts are generally one-sided because farmers do not understand the legalities. So they tend to get exploited. Sometimes in the contract there would be provisions like, if the price of market price of potato is 1/2 of what you are promised, then we'll buy it from the market. Farmers end up suffering. So there was a need of regulating contract farming so that more and more farmers will get into the system of contract farming, and more traders will also get into the system of contract farming. And for this new law is providing framework for that. How contract farming should occur, it's providing framework for that. This law says that contract farming should be based on agreements. There should be a agreement through which contract farming would occur, and this agreement should be for a minimum period of 1 crop season. So let's say for growing wheat 4 months is needed. Agreement should be at least for 4 months, maximum for the duration of crop. Sorry, maximum for 5 years, minimum for one duration of crop and maximum for 5 years, unless there may be some product जिनका लाइफ साइकिल ही 5 साल से ज्यादा है, तो उस केस में और भी ज्यादा हो सकता है, but minimum period of farming and maximum period of farming has been provided for here. Okay, then this agreement must contain pricing of farm produce. How much money will the farmer get? And in case there is a provision for change in prices, let's say a Lay's says that no, 20 rupees per kg, if it's available in market in 10 rupees per kg, why would we buy it 20 rupees? In case there are provisions related to change in prices, then you should provide for a guaranteed price. At least this is what we'll give you and this is the variable amount, how it would go on. And finally, it also provides for a well-defined dispute resolution mechanism. In case there is a dispute between the farmers and the corporate sector through which they are doing this contract farming, first there is a provision for conciliation board. So in case of dispute, they'll go to conciliation board. Conciliation board will have representatives from farmer side also, representatives from the corporate side also. It should resolve the issue in 30 days. If the issue is not resolved in 30 days, then they'll go to the subdivisional magistrate. Subdivisional magistrate will again have to resolve the issue in 30 days, give a judgment in 30 days, and if they are not happy with the judgment, if the farmers are not happy with the judgment, or if the contractors are not happy with the judgment, they will file an appeal in front of appellate authority, which will be presided by either collector or additional collector. They should also resolve the issue in 30 days. Okay, so through this law, they're saying that contract farming should be through agreement. Contract farming, this agreement should specify what is the minimum guaranteed amount of money that you'll give and the proper dispute resolution mechanism, quick dispute resolution mechanism. You'll see that this dispute resolution is taking place within 90 days in worst case. And there are provisions for penalties also. If they determine, if the subdivisional magistrate or the appellate authority determines that one side had violated the norms of agreement, they can impose fine, but in any case, no action can be taken against the agricultural land of the farmer. Agricultural land of the farmer is protected. Otherwise, farmer पे भी penalty लग सकती है or the penalty could be imposed on the company. But agricultural land of the farmer should not be in any way affected. That is, no order should be given that you sell your agricultural land to this person. That is not allowed. Agricultural land is protected. This is the second law against which farmers are protesting. And third is the amendment to Essential Commodities Act through this Essential Commodities Amendment Act 2030. What is this amendment saying? So Essential Commodities Act is an act of 1950s which allows government to impose restriction on export, impose restriction on the storage that you have. For example, it says the government can say, oh, it's an essential commodity, you cannot store more than this much of it. For example, at the time of beginning of COVID-19, masks were included in the definition there. So you could not store more than this amount of masks and these kind of things were there. So Essential Commodities Act provide for that. This act has been amended to bring some kind of certainty. It has been said that government should not unnecessarily impose restrictions on agri products. That is, इससे ज़्यादा store नहीं कर सकते. All those kind of things should not happen unless the price has increased by 100% for horticulture product. Last year, the apple was sold at 60 rupees per kg, but now it is being sold at 120 rupees per kg. There's an increase of 100%. Then there could be restriction on stock limit. Otherwise, restriction should not happen. Okay, so the last year's price or the average price of last 5 years, whichever is lower, compared to that, your price should not have increased by 100% in case of horticulture product and 50% in case of non-perishable agri product, जैसे गेहूं, rice, in सब में if the price has increased by 50%. Only then government will impose any kind of stock limit. Otherwise, there will be no stock limit. That is, big players can store apples with them, big players can store tomatoes with them. There is no stock limit as such. So they can create cold storage facilities and can store a lot of it. These are the three laws against which farmer protests are going on. Now, when we look at these laws, we find that there are lots of good things about it. Farmer has been given the freedom of choice. Farmer can sell the product wherever he wants. And this will promote competition. This will ensure farmers can still go to APMC mandis, but he can also go to all these other places which are allowed to buy. And thus it is expected that it will fetch better price for farmers. Similarly, it will promote barrier-free interstate trades. Right now, there was an issue of fragmentation of the market, but that's not happening. Now, APMCs will also face competition, because APMCs would see, if we are not providing good facilities, if we are not giving them the right price, they'll go somewhere else. So situation in APMCs would also improve. APMCs would also become more efficient, and because most of the trade takes place for APMC, overall agri-marketing in the country would go up. Private investment will also come up, because private sales or private wholesale markets, all those kind of things are allowed. So this will lead to better supply chain management, better supply chain development. It will create better infrastructure, more cold storage facilities, and thus will reduce wastage and thus help in reducing the price volatility. Basically, understand it this way. Let's say Lay's, if they are allowed to stock any amount of potato, which they are allowed to right now, this creates cold storage facilities and store a lot of potatoes. What this will lead to is, right now a lot of India's agriculture products get wasted. It gets wasted because we do not have proper storage facilities. Cold storage facilities are lacking, but now those would be created. So it will also in long term benefit consumers as well as farmers. Less wastage, they'll be able to earn more money. Further, consumers, when there is more agri product in the market, consumer would be able to buy it at a cheaper price. Because farmers, now think of, farmers will not have to go to APMC mandis, they can sell it to nearby wholesale market. The cost of farmer to take the product there will reduce. It will also lead to better price discovery for farmers, and farmers can thus get better money. Electronic trading is being promoted. It will make system more transparent. Food processing industries, जैसे लेस की बात कर रहे थे, या big supermarkets, let's say More or Big Bazaar, who want to procure a lot of products, they will be able to do it very easily rather than going to different APMC mandis for the same. Then consumers will get cheaper products. Other than this, contract farming, we have seen that contract farming, well-defined mechanism has been provided for. It will also benefit small and marginal farmers who so far had been suffering because it was not very clear. Finally, stock limit में भी unnecessary interference हटा दिया गया है. And in the previous class, if you attended the previous class, there we talked about policy uncertainty. Policy uncertainty hinders economic growth. Policy uncertainty hinders investment. Now, policy uncertainty will not be there. More and more of these big markets will create better infrastructure, and overall everyone would benefit. The private sector will come more and more into play. All good things. Then why are farmers protesting? Why are farmers protesting? आप बताएंगे? So you're saying that farmers are worried that farmers will not be able to sell their product at MSP, minimum support price. But in APMC mandis, MSP is not guaranteed. MSP is still not guaranteed. Farmers are worried that with these laws in play, more and more private sector will procure food, and government, Food Corporation of India, which procures food through at MSP, at minimum support price, they do guaranteed procurement. Eventually all those things will be done away with. They are apprehensive of those things. These laws are not saying anything like that. These laws are not saying that MSP would go away. These laws are not saying that Food Corporation of India will not procure foods. Food Corporation of India will not procure wheat and rice. But still, farmers are worried. Okay, that's why they are protesting. But a lot of intellectuals like Yogendra Yadav and all, they have also criticized this, because they are looking at long-term implication of these. For example, they say that, see, Bihar did away with APMC system, but what happened after that? APMC market deteriorated and we were not able to create private good infrastructure. So right now, if a farmer in Punjab is able to sell a product at 18 rupees per kg, a farmer in Bihar is selling the same product at 12 rupees per kg. Because there is no APMC mandi where they can go and ensure bidding takes place. The most of the trade is happening in local hearts or local traders, where also they have cartelization and everything, where good infrastructure is also not there. They're suffering. And they feel, the farmers presently feel, that if these new laws come into play and if farmers start going to different places, Eventually, government will reduce investment in APMC mandis, APMC infrastructure would suffer, and everything would get privatized. They're worried about that. Similarly, when you look at the recommendation of Parliamentary Standing Committee on Agriculture, this Parliamentary Standing Committee on Agriculture in 2018-19 had said that government should invest more in APMCs to ensure that APMC mandis are easily available to people. But here, farmers fear that these will reduce, the investment in APMCs will reduce. Then there's a concern that if mandi taxes are reduced, because if more and more products will not go to mandi, they'll remain outside, the mandi taxes will, the amount of taxes which mandi is able to earn will reduce. Most of the mandi tax is used for improving infrastructure of mandis. So infrastructure of mandis, those APMC mandis would suffer. Other than this, there are other concerns too. We are saying that in the advantage of these new laws, we said that private investment would happen. This was something that we said in advantage, but it has been seen that private investment takes place in those areas where infrastructure is good, where large farmers are available. Small and marginal farmers of eastern Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, weaker areas, poorer areas, they will not be creating infrastructure there. Those people would keep suffering. It's important that government should keep its role high. Then, because most of these markets would be unregulated, APMCs, though were so regulated, there also bidding had become negligible in the sense useless, because cartelization was taking place. Now these markets which would be spread throughout the country, regulating them would be further difficult. Most of the time farmers would end up suffering. Then some states are also worried that they would lose a lot of revenue because of mandi fee. Some states earn around 5,000 crore rupees from mandi fee. They'll end up losing that. Then there are other criticisms too. The way ordinances were brought. What was the need of an ordinance? Or when the law was brought, law was not properly discussed. All the stakeholders were not consulted. This was just quickly made to go through the parliament because they have majority or they have enough support in both the houses of the parliament. The law was passed in the parliament just like that. Enough discussion on it did not take place. All the stakeholders were not consulted. And this has also created confusion or apprehension among people. Why was government not ready to discuss it? If it was such a big reform. Then in contract farming also it has been seen that generally the small and marginal farmers have suffered. So coming up with a well-defined mechanism for contract farming without strengthening small and marginal farmer would not serve any purpose. And finally, there are questions about constitutional validity. So far we have been saying that agriculture and agri-marketing are state subject. Right? This will also be visible from this entry 14 of agriculture of the state list, which mentions agriculture. Entry 26, which says that trade and commerce within states comes in the state list. Entry 27, which says that production, supply and distribution of goods is in the state list. Then entry 28, which talks about market and fairs. All these things come under the state list. But how could center form a law? Center could form a law because entry 26 and 27, trade and commerce within states and production, supply and distribution of goods, entry 27, they are subject to entry 33 of the concurrent list. And this concurrent list, both state and center can make laws. These two provisions are subject to, they are subject to entry 33 of the concurrent list, and this entry 33 of the concurrent list says that trade and commerce in and the production, supply and distribution of these things, but foodstuff including edible oilseed and oil. This comes in concurrent list. So center is saying that because 26 and 27 are subject to entry 33 and entry 33 allows, its concurrent list, it allows us to make laws on foodstuff including edible and oilseed, on trade and commerce of these things. We are allowed to make laws on agricultural product. So on these arguments, center has passed the 3 amendments, the two laws and 1 amendment. Theoretically they are right, theoretically they are not unconstitutional, but constitutional experts have said that this was not a right move. They say that यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे इसमें criticism में, it is going to hamper federal cooperation. Cooperation between center and state is going to be hampered because of this move. You are finding technicalities, exceptions, and are trying to using that you are trying to get into the domain of states. State, like agriculture is in the state subject, and therefore all the ancillary or subsidiary things related to agriculture, be it marketing and all, should remain with the state. And finally, though entry 26 and entry 27 are subject to entry 33 of the concurrent list, but entry 28 is not subject to entry 33 of the concurrent list. And entry 28 is the one which is saying that, or which is talking about market and fairs. The market and fairs is still, market is still a domain of state government, but center has made laws. So though constitutional wise technically it will be okay, but it goes against the spirit of federalism which India promotes. If you want to study more about these things, this is the Hindu article which was talking about constitutionality. But here what I have tried to do, I have tried to summarize all the problems that have existed. So you can read this article more to understand the beginning, like when entry 33 in the concurrent list was included. It was included through an amendment, and even at that time there were criticism that this provision may be used to reduce the rights of states in future, and that has happened after 60-70 years. What center has done, center has taken away rights of states because of this entry 33 in the constitution, in the concurrent list. Okay, agri marketing के issues समझ में आए हैं? What is agri-marketing? What is the current system, the APMC system? What are the problems in the current system? What steps government has taken? Recent amendments, recent laws. Good things about those laws, limitations or problems about those laws. What do we do? How should we deal with this issue? The first thing that we'll have to deal with is deal with the farmers' protest. Government has to take care of farmers' protest, and one of the major reasons for farmer protest has been the communication gap. Farmers are worried about their future, about MSP, about guaranteed procurement. In today's class only we'll see that Food Corporation of India goes for open-ended procurement of wheat and rice. No matter how much amount of wheat and rice is brought to Food Corporation of India, it procures all of it. It goes for open-ended procurement, and therefore now farmers are worried that this may not happen in future. This is because of communication gap. This is because government has not been able to convince farmers to see MSP is still not guaranteed to you. And even if MSP is guaranteed for some product, only 6% of the farmers benefit from MSP regime. 94% of the farmers do not benefit from MSP regime. So even if MSP was gone, though it's not going anywhere, but even if it was removed, 94% of the farmers would not have been impacted. It is most of the rich farmers, big farmers, who benefit from MSP regime. Then we also have to make people understand that promising guaranteed MSP procurement is not feasible. Today we'll see that Government of India announces MSP on 22 products and sugarcane. Total 23. Sugarcane pe FRP is announced. It's not exactly MSP, but it is announced for these 23 products. But procurement of only wheat and rice takes place in a open-ended manner. बाकी सारी चीजों में procurement is minimal, and thus even now on MSP all the 23 crops are not procured, and therefore promising MSP for all the crops and promising procurement through MSP for all the crops is not feasible. Then what we need to do is we need to work towards increasing farmers' income, and price mechanism, that is ensuring that farmer will get at least this much money for every kg of wheat, that is MSP mechanism, is not the long-term solution. In long term, we'll need to augment the productivity of farmers, we'll need to diversify to high value crops, and we'll need to shift people from agriculture to other sectors to ensure that people who are engaged in agriculture, their income remains high. Then we also need to ensure better competition between APMC mandis and all the new system which is coming up. So for that, we do not have to ignore APMC mandis. APMC mandis, their structure, their functioning should be promoted. Their infrastructure should be improved so that there is good competition. APMC mandis may farmers are getting good price so that they are not going anywhere. Other people are also trying to attract farmers. In this way, the overall marketing system in the country would become more effective. Then, not only do we have to create more APMC mandis and improve the infrastructure in APMC mandis, we also have to reform APMCs. APMCs में जो हमने problem बोली थी, barriers in introduction of new players, that should go away. It should be easy for me to go and register as a trader there and then start bidding. Only then transparent bidding process would happen. Else, if few groups are able to control APMCs, then cartelization would happen. So we have to reform APMC mandis. We should allow easy entry of private players, reduce trader collusion, and link them with national e-market portal. E-NAM portal से सबको link करना चाहिए. Then government should also come up with a price stabilization scheme. What is this? Now in long term, if the procurement by government reduces or price of some product reduces drastically or increases drastically, because we are shifting more and more, because we are liberalizing more and more in agri-marketing regime, we are shifting more and more on private sector for price determination, there may be fluctuation. In those situations, we should have a price stabilization scheme to deal with the extremes of the problem. Then states are losing some money. Some states are losing around 5,000 crore rupees every year. They should be promised some compensation. The way we did it for GST. In GST, because some states were on the losing side, they were promised some compensation. Finally, we also have to empower farmers. If farmers would remain vulnerable, if farmers would remain segregated, they will not be able to, let's say contract भी होता है हम दोनों के बीच में. If you are a big businessman, I alone will not be able to, or rather communication means this agreement I will not be able to understand properly, I will not have enough bargaining power. If farmers could be brought together and included into farmer producer organization, a company with which the corporate sector will deal with, it will improve the strength of farmers, bargaining powers of farmers, and would benefit the farmers. So इसके लिए what we can do is FPOs can play a crucial role here. Then agri future markets have to be strengthened. Now what are these agri future markets? See, the way we have stock markets, in the same way we have commodity exchange. In commodity exchange, what happens? In commodity exchange, let's say this is a commodity exchange. Here, a commodity, let's say 1000 kg of rice. एक तो on spot is sold, other people who are bidding for it buy it. Then futures are sold. A farmer comes with a future agreement that 6 months down the line I'll provide you 1000 kg of rice. A trader buys this future, and then accordingly 6 months down the line the farmer comes and provides 1000 kg of rice here. So on stock exchange, shares are sold of a company. On commodity exchange, commodity or commodities future agreements are sold like this. So we have to strengthen this system, because this is also contributing towards improving the functioning. We have to strengthen better marketing facilities it's providing. Another mechanism by which farmer can get right price. So we have to promote that, we have to strengthen this. And for this, what we can do is, when NABARD is working towards creation of 10,000 farmer producer organization. These FPOs, when they are being created, they should also be trained to deal with exchanges, commodity exchanges, so that these farmer producer organization can have a future agreement on commodity exchange with some trader for supplying the product 6 months down the line. Marketing का एक और mechanism. In the same way, government agencies like Food Corporation of India, NAFED, they should also increase their participation in agri future, that is on commodity exchange. Then some government policies, for example, what happens is sometimes government policies are so unpredictable, they impose various restrictions on things like agri futures or agri exports. Agri futures में restriction मतलब they say that commodity exchange पे it will not be traded. Those kind of things should also be done away with.
Hit the bell icon to never miss an update from Levelup IAS. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.